Okay. All right. All right. We should be live. Also, wait hold on. This is just okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Fantastic. All right. We are live. What's up, guys? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Welcome. This is Overexposed. We are live. Today is January 13th, 2026. And we're back rocking and rolling today. We got a lot to chat about, plenty to yap about, lots on the mind. All right. Lots on the mind. I'm trying to think. Is there anything on top of mine that I should be? Oh, this is the first time. There's a couple of announcements. This is the first time that we are actually being clipped, apparently, by Live Frame. I'm gonna have to check in with Jonah, and make sure that that's Gucci to Gucci Prada Louis, making sure it's running. Yeah? Question mark. Sent. Fantastic. Just dropped something. That's okay. So that's great. We're actually live on Twitch as a result, which is cool. Very interesting. So we got lots to talk about. Crypto's finally doing all right. Jonah is responsing. He's responsing. Checking right now. I'm responsing. So we're live on Twitch for the first time. It's kind of interesting. The last time I was live on Twitch, I think was maybe like, oh man, what year is it? 2026? It must have been 8 years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago. I think I was live on Twitch for a day streaming League of Legends and was like, wow, this is I see the difficulty of streaming to one person. It was it was so that's my Twitch history. And I think that's about it. So that was that. Other than that, we got plenty to talk about in terms of both crypto, which finally is getting some action, right? We're finally getting some action on chain and otherwise. It's very cool. And and we got plenty to talk about, just like the real world, right? Hold on, I'm just checking with Jonah to make sure things are good. Am I live on Twitch? Uh, it says I am. Let me just see. Am I live on Twitch right now? Profile channel. Doing a little check ski. Says so. We're gonna find out. Yeah, we are. Yes. Yes, I am live on Twitch. That's so interesting. That's so crazy. I've not seen myself live on Twitch in like ever. That's hilarious. By the way, if you guys are tuning in, what's up? Good to see you guys in the chat. Would love to see any comments. Would love to see anything you guys have to say. I check out all my comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have on the mind. So that's kind of that. And if you feel like watching on Twitch, yeah, you can. You can. I mean, to each their own. I actually don't really use Twitch. Most of my stream catching I catch elsewhere, but you know, it's another platform. It's another place to be, as the kids say, or so to speak. Yeah, Jonah's checking. Here. You know what? We'll just hop straight into things. We'll check in with Jonah in about a minute or two. We'll see what he has to say. All right, pull up the bookmarks, Chris. Let's go. So this one's funny. Peak, if you guys don't know, Peak is a social game, right? Like it's a game where a couple people, you work together, you help each other, you climb up a mountain. That's the idea. The developers had some amazing gamer math explanation. You guys have to hear this. In a player's mind, what does it mean to spend $5? Well, $5, like $5 is $5. But $6, well, that's still $5, right? Like in the gamer math, still $6 is $5. Well, so $4 is also kind of $5, right? Like $4 isn't that cheap. You'd rather just spend $5. $3 is $2, and $2 is basically free. So we've got these tiers, $12, that's $10. $13 is $15, and we found that $8 is still $5. It doesn't become $10. $7.99, that's $5, right? It's $5. So $8 going to $5 is the biggest differential we could find in pricing. So we found it very optimal. Dude, like, oh my God. That is so gamer math. It's unbelievable. $7.99 is the furthest you can get away from $5. That $2.99 bonus, right? The $2.99 bonus over the actual value. That they're just like, we'll just price things at $7.99 because that's the max we can extract out of this. That's the most $5 looking $7.99 we can make it. It's like The guys who are responsible for this, this is peak business. This is business. And gamer math is absolutely at its limits here. Can't be beat. I thought that was beautiful. I saw this and I was like, you know what? Game is game, Game is game. If you can charge me $7.99 and I just think it's $5, then respect. Although I do think that's not entirely accurate, Like I don't know if I price things as much by, $8 is actually $5. I price things more by how much money how much food can I buy with that money? Right? Like $20 is not $20. $20 is a bowl of Chipotle. $20 is lunch. $20 might even be dinner at some places, right? So that's what $20 means to me. It doesn't mean $20. It means Chipotle. That's what that means. $5 means a tip for Uber, right? Like that's what that means. So I don't know. I kind of like comp things to that, Like if I want to buy something, if I want to buy, let's say, a luxury item and it's $20, I think, is this worth a Chipotle dinner? And if it's not, then it's not. But if it is, if it's worth more than a Chipotle dinner, and then I'm like, why would I spend money on Chipotle when really I should just have this, discretionary spend? How many V-Bucks is Chipotle really worth, Something to think about. Something to think about. We'll keep going. Shredder, stop, Chris. $4 is $5 and $6 is $5, so $7.99. We'll keep things rolling. I don't know if you guys have been seeing these Chinese delivery vans.
别墅里面唱 K， 水池里面饮龙鱼。我送阿寿茶具和研磨。
Yeah, baby, look at that
直接给我4个字算大展宏图，大事亲手提笔出，大展宏图，搬来翻在办公室，哎，大展宏图，员工都点头，有料。鸿运不能总是单头，因为单老。他说要玩就要玩得大，玩得大点。谁穿越大老甩坐得下，养下宠物。得罪小人没关系，得罪君主看不起。世上君子不贪杯，得得罪得到对。黑灰蓝白刀亦有道。
Dude, if my Amazon delivery service isn't this persistent, I don't want to pay for it. This van is getting where it's going and nothing's stopping it. There's no amount of concrete sludge that you could pour that's going to stop this thing. It will drift its way. It will Tokyo drift its way to your driveway. No problem. I will pay $8 extra delivery for that to bring my package to me because I know nothing is stopping this van. Dude, like they're even trying. No, please don't deliver the packages. They can't stop it. It doesn't care about your construction. I mean, when it wants to stop it, it kind of chooses its own way. Doesn't care what it's taking out on the way. Like these things are an incredible meme. And honestly, China might be onto something. Jeff Bezos, take notes, okay? If my package gets here in 8 hours and in the process causes a little ruckus on the street, I don't mind. That's so funny. Look, these things are silly. Like, what an incredible meme this is. Does not care. It's going where it's choosing to go. The drifting here, hold on, check this out. That's got better drift than the Miata. That's got better drifting than like a Toyota Supra. Do you see that? Skirt. Now, in fairness, if I had a glass delivery, this might not be the optimal, driving pace on a bumpy road. I mean, I don't know, but I like my favorite part about this clip, by the way, is they're like, please, no, don't go. No, stop. And it actually sits, pauses, and it's like, yeah, nah, I'm just going to go for it anyway. And it goes. Oh, that's incredible. That is persistence. This is the future of AI. You know, it's going to get there. It's going to get there. We'll keep going.
11:21. So we're getting.
This is the best streamer, in my opinion, period, and maybe that I've ever seen. I love the Burnt Peanut, and his clips are fantastic.
It's 11:21, so we're getting to unemployed territory.
Yeah.
This isn't the single dads we were seeing an hour or two ago. We're talking about the bitchless. We're talking about the friendless, jobless. You're talking about.
I mean, he's on to something. If you're playing video games at 1 a.m. on a Wednesday night, right? Like 1 a.m. on a Wednesday night, if you're playing video games, you're either a college student who doesn't really care about classes and is just kind of grinding away, in which case you're a sweat, right? And you scare me. Or right, you just don't have a job. You are a NEET, you are unemployed. You are just rocking away at 1 a.m., absolutely laying the heat right now in Arc Raiders. But the difficulty level has raised. It rises exponentially over at 9 p.m. and later. Like it is an unplayable game at times. You know, at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., you're kind of chill, right? By 11 p.m., the people that are working at 8 a.m., they're logging out for the night. And 11:30, midnight, oh, dude, you are in the depths. This is how PvP games go, especially on the East Coast US, right? Like, that's just how it goes. When it gets really late, you are up against the sweatiest of sweats. You're up against the people that if you shoot them once in Fortnite, they have built the Empire State Building before you get your third shot in. In Arc Raiders, dude, you could tell. Like, there is movement, right? The skill in Arc Raiders comes in the movement, right? Obviously, accuracy is one thing, but movement and moving your player around is one thing. You could tell, okay, I'm shooting at a noob, right? Like, he shoots back a couple times. Maybe he hits a roll. Maybe he hits a little juke and jive. And then there's other people where it's like, God forbid you shoot a single bullet at them and suddenly they're dancing. They're just absolutely going left, right, center, front, back. Rolls faster than you ever seen it. They're like Jerry and Tom and Jerry juking. It's unbelievable. So yeah, you could kind of tell when you're out of your league. And at around midnight, when you're getting to unemployment hours, that's when things get nasty. We'll keep things rolling. This has to be maybe one of the single best versions of, oh my God, meme coins may actually be a solved game. When you see this like previous history, this person over the course of the last 2 years is now currently LARPing as a woman on the internet, you know, pretending to be a woman and launching a meme coin. They've since deleted the post. That's what that was about. And it's just this is their entire history. Mew Soul, Nian Soul. Like, I wonder what these were all. You know, I wonder if these were successful cryptocurrency token projects, businesses even that were put together and supported. You know, it was a communal effort. Luce, Chill Duck Soul. Like, I bet they put in lots of thought and effort into building this out. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. This is a disaster. Welcome to meme coins. You know, it's like, this is also why when Nikita was talking about cash tags and bringing in cash tags and everyone was like, I don't really know about this. It's because we see cash tags and we see the ability to shill something on Twitter and actually make someone buy it as like, oh my God, we're just giving another tool to these people who are going to come in with, you know, they're like, oh, wow, a new tool. We get to trade these new tokens. Meanwhile, the people that are sharing these cash tags, someone's going to find a way to use them as the perfect extraction device for the man who comes home and says, you know what, I want to take my $300 worth of soul and turn it into 800. You know, I think there's an opportunity tonight. Let me do a little bit of trading on the side. Oh, that's a new interesting token on Twitter. Let me buy that direct from my Twitter wallet. Wow, fantastic new technology. Meanwhile, on the other side of that trade is this guy who's created 38 different vibe-coded bots that are all specifically tailored to separate you from your hard-earned salama. Your salama mommies are all just getting absolutely ripped out of your hands by these professional, like CI level agents on the blockchain. That's what they are. And this, for it to be this visible, means that you suck, right? Like you were not good at your job if you were this, easily outed, let's say. But wow, that is a disaster. That is an absolute mockery. And I bet someone bought that. All this notwithstanding, someone out there was duped and thought, you know what? This cute girl, let's go ahead buy their coin. Disaster. There are cretins. There are rats behind every corner. And they're looking for any way to take your hard-earned money and just separate it. Pocket your hard-earned money and leaving you bleeding and whimpering on a cold sidewalk. And honestly, I don't participate, but from the sidelines, at this point, game is game. You know what? If you are able to make a living as a rat in the crypto trenches right now, if you're scrounging for scraps and you're coming away rich, you know what? Game is game. Can't hate. You are playing a pristine level PvP game and winning off of, I don't know, maybe just sheer determination, likely a significant chunk of insanity. Godspeed. I don't really support it, and I think it's a valueless extraction mechanism. However, if you're able to do it at this point, game is game. What else we got? So this happens every single time crypto enters a bear market. People always talk about like, wow, no one's really talking about crypto anymore. Maybe it's fallen off. Every single time Bitcoin price drops, social engagement with Bitcoin mirrors the price action almost perfectly. Like it's to a T, basically spot on. Bitcoin followers per day in crypto socials is always peaked exactly, like generally to the day, on all-time highs. When Bitcoin is at its absolute peak price performance, crypto socials tend to perform out of their minds. Like people actually tend to care about crypto social. I wonder why. Maybe because the leading asset is at number one. I'm absolutely sure that the same applies to other assets too. When gold was absolutely peaking out of its mind, gold influencers were probably seeing the biggest growth that they've seen in years in terms of their socials. Same thing goes for people who like champion inequity, right? The guy who's been championing Palantir all over Twitter or all over Instagram probably saw more followers per day on the days where Palantir was hitting new all-time highs than on days when it's just kind of chilling. And especially as it goes down, no one's incentivized to follow an account that's talking about an asset that's only depreciating, like publicly depreciating. So yeah, it's not shocking to see crypto YouTube viewership plunging to 5-year lows because people just don't really care right now. Now, in fairness, 5-year lows, which includes last cycle, is a little bit like, huh. But also, maybe people, this is YouTube specifically, a lot of people might actually be just moving off YouTube for this type of information, right? Like Twitter is fairly decent for this type of information. Recently, not as much, but especially today, they did fix the algo. Not doing as bad anymore. Really not doing as bad. A lot of people, funny enough, get it off of TikTok or Instagram Reels or, elsewhere. Or just out of the like own favorite, news sort or articles now, right? Like you could actually go to more serious publications than when you had to go on YouTube to find that information now as opposed to prior. And also just, a lot of the YouTube grifters who are excellent at making content that really hit are grifters and were outed as grifters. And some of them got wrecked and others just got so hard exposed by CoffeeZilla that it was just like, not, that entire segment had been killed. So it's unshocking to see crypto YouTube viewership plunging to 5-year lows. It's going to be concerning if it never really picks up. But I would strongly doubt that, to be honest with you. I mean, how many people, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe how many people are really going on, for example, YouTube to think about like, oh, can I get information on Palantir from YouTube? Not really many people. Can I get information on, I don't know, Caterpillar stock on YouTube? Probably not many people. And Bitcoin is becoming more traditional in that sense. So it's like, you don't really need to go to YouTube to fringe YouTube commentators to find out what's going on. You could just go on the internet, search Bitcoin, and get your answer. What else we got? 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 Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Not going to talk about that yet. Oh, I'm going to talk about that, but later. Later. All right. Do need to talk about this. Former mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, announced an NYC token, which was a cryptocurrency that he said would somehow fight anti-Semitism. Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd.
Being mayor for 4 years, there are many successes we walked away with, and there are many things we could have done better. And we learned a lot in the process. And what I am seeing across the country in general, but specifically here in New York, is the increase in anti-Semitism.
See, this is the thing. There has been a palpable increase in anti-Semitism, right? But how is a cryptocurrency going to help with fighting or combating anti-Semitism at all? Like, what's the strategy? What's the thought going on here? Not only that, former mayor Eric Adams scammed people with this NYC token, which is supposed to somehow fight anti-Semitism. It's unbelievable what's going on here. Let's see. I gotta find more posts on this because you guys actually have to see how ridiculous this whole thing is. Is this the token? Was this the thing I was looking for? All right, yeah. So here he launches the Buy NYC token, a new token built to fight the rapid spread of anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism across this country and now in New York City, right? Check this out. This was a rug pull. He drained over $3.4 million from the liquidity pool. In order to trade a cryptocurrency token, you have to have on one side, the liquidity. You have to have the token that people actually want, in this case, Solana, right, or USDC. Here you have USDC. So on one side of the liquidity pool, you have to have the token that people actually want, right, like a stable coin, USDC. And then on the other side, you have the meme or whatever people actually want to trade. In this case, it's NYC, which was Eric Adams' coin. They had a pairing where you have both sides, which was supplied by the team. Very common, very normal. Rips liquidity out, takes out $3.4 million of just liquidity taken out, just taken out from the market. He basically scammed $3.5 million of liquidity from the meme coin. It's like, Unc, what are we doing here? Talk about one way to absolutely shred whatever's left of your reputation. You were the New York City mayor, and within days, not even 2 weeks of after leaving office, he's running a $3.5 million scam. Like, what is this? I invite anyone to tell me how this wasn't a scam. Apparently, the team is trying to say like, "Oh, we're rebalancing liquidity." This is not ever how it's. This is not traditional. This is not commonplace in crypto. Oh my gosh, dude! Like, What are we talking about? What are we talking about? This is supposed to help fight anti-Semitism. Draining $3.5 million from the liquidity pool of your meme coin somehow fights anti-Semitism. Eric Adams. Yikes. Absolute yikes. At this point, it's like I'm never shocked anymore. I'm never surprised. I am never surprised. Never be surprised, because this is just how it goes. They'll make hype videos about launching. What is this token? The New York City token. He's not even the mayor of the city anymore, and he's launching a token about the city. Given the overwhelming support and demand for the token at launch, our partners had to rebalance liquidity. That is a crazy way of saying we maybe took a lot of money out. We maybe took a lot of money out of this. The team commenced the funds for TWAP and had added additional funds to the liquidity pool. We're in it for the long haul. Okay. All right, guys. All right. For sure. All right. I believe you. Uh-huh. It's like, what are we doing? Oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. Wait, I got to see something. Did they? Well, I assume it's probably not the case anymore. Oh, wait. Hold on. I have to see this. Where's the account based? Oh my God! The account is based in Europe. The New York City token. The account is based in Europe. It may not be accurate. Oh, dude. What a disaster. 2 weeks after you leave the NYC mayor office, you're launching what is effectively a scam token. Like, you really just can't save people from themselves sometimes. You really just can't. You just can't. Well, another exciting day in crypto, huh? Let's see. What else we got? Oh, I want to talk about that. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what like order I want to talk about some of this stuff in. Okay. So we should definitely talk about, this for a second. We're coming up on February, right? In just a few weeks. And OpenSea continues their just absolute reign of terror of just failing over and over and over again. I want to keep giving OpenSea the benefit of the doubt, but they launched their token. They announced their token. Excuse me. OpenSea announced their token in February of last year. Okay? February of 2025. It has been almost a full year. As of February, it will have been a full year since they announced their token. We are exactly at 11 months as of today, and within a month, we will be at 12 months. 12! Since they last, gave us some excitement about this pending token launch. And they've farmed their users. People have been actually using the platform in hopes of actually getting this token since February of last year. And it's like, if you had a case study on a company that had an opportunity and missed the mark maybe every single time that they had an opportunity to, and then made new opportunities so that they can miss those marks again, it would be OpenSea. It's actually comical. If not for the amount of money that they left on the table for both themselves and their power users, this would be incredible comedy. But because of the amount of money they left on the table for both themselves and their power user here, it's just purely frustrating. Sometimes, man, like I'm gonna be a lawyer soon, but sometimes lawyers need to just take a step back, right? And just and just let the company do what the company needs to do to avoid disasters like these. What an absolute atrocity this was. What else? What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? Yeah, let's talk about, well, actually, I kind of want to talk about that, but I want to talk about this. AI has been an absolute hot button topic, right? Everyone is concerned about AI taking their jobs and whatnot. One of the things that people are really concerned about when it comes to AI is, well, AI costs a lot of energy to run. It just to say, hey, can you check on this, that, and the other thing for me? It spends a serious amount of energy to process different requests. And they're building these massive complexes, these huge data centers, which are just energy hogs. And any area, like any residential area that's within, a certain zone or certain radius of these data centers has been seeing their utility bills going up 30%, according to Trump here. Right? Or actually, that's separate. Basically, the electricity bills for the average American are going up as a result of these data centers. The amount of energy that we need to power AI is massive, right? So they are taking a lot of power, and as with a massive increase in demand without, equivalent increase in supply, the cost of energy is going up drastically. Trump here is taking what seems to be the first steps toward trying to fix that. Apparently, they're cutting deals, or at least making sure that these large tech companies have to front the bill, or at least have to front a significant part of the utility bill to deal with this power consumption, which, I mean, I got to be honest with you, AI is having a real social problem. People are turning against AI en masse. People are concerned about losing their jobs. They're concerned about rising electricity bills. They're concerned about what we were sold not actually being the case. We were sold for months and years that AGI was going to be achieved, and we were going to somehow, all of us were going to be so much healthier, and it was going to solve cancer, right? It was going to break down the walls. We were going to massively improve as a species. That was 5 years ago. And it's still struggling to write essays for college students, right? So people are like, we're spending all this money on this. We're spending so much money on this entire product. Can't even tell if some of these companies like OpenAI are even going to be profitable. And we have to front the bill in terms of electricity costs. And I can't, if I want a computer, oh, God forbid I want a computer. And I want to have a good, GPU or good RAM. RAM is $800 a stick because of this stuff. So that we can create images of, monkeys with like typing out laptops. I don't know, random crap that no one actually cares to watch. And all this AI slop, literally AI slop, some of the lowest intelligence video content that you've ever seen, which is also, by the way, blowing up and being some of the most viewed stuff on YouTube right now. Pure AI slop in YouTube Shorts that's like targeted at kids or whatever. It's actually fairly distressing. So the opinion set on AI is getting really bad really fast. So stuff like this is actually, kind of necessary. They need, like, the AI tech companies need to start winning back some favor, some political favor, and some social favor. And this, just paying for their own utility bills and paying a little bit extra because they're the ones that are raising the prices anyway makes sense. It's a good start, and it kind of needs to happen. But this is step one. They have so much more to do. Rockefeller in the early 1900s or wherever it was built, I think, something like 2,500 libraries to make sure that he maintained social status so that people were kind of okay with him because all of their libraries were Rockefeller libraries. You have the Rockefeller Center in New York City. When are we going to get the OpenAI Center? When are we going to get a brand new stadium for our favorite football teams, for athletics, for, new halls of education and learning, new university buildings? All should be put up by some of these tech companies. Otherwise, people are going to start wondering, if we as a country are putting this much money into AI and tech, what are we seeing out of it? Sam Altman is driving a Koenigsegg, a $2 million car down the street in San Francisco. But like my energy bills are up. So what's happening? Where does the American taxpayer get the benefit that we are putting so much money into this? That's the concern. So I'd say we have something happening here. This is the first time that we're starting to see the AI tech companies really start to see that their public perception is waning, like fast. It's going bad fast. So to see them happily, supposedly happily, according to Trump, pick up the tab for for the cost that they're creating, it's step one. But I expect to see much more of this throughout 2026. I really do. Thank you and congratulations to Microsoft. Yep, more to come soon. Also, these Donald Trump truths are like, it's crazy. He's just got crazy announcements. He just puts them out there, truths. It's a very fascinating way of communicating with the public. Don't be scared. LiveFrame is always watching. Hi there, LiveFrame. We're getting clipped by LiveFrame. You like to see it. You like to see it. Shout out Jonah Blake. Absolutely crushing it with LiveFrame. The guy's killing it. I think that of all the crypto media companies might be one of the best that's coming up. I'm not going to lie. I think there's a real shot there. I think there's a real shot. It's one of the only crypto media companies that's building a product that people clearly want at scale. Clipping works, period. Flat out, it works. It's a business method, whatever. It's a business model that actually works. And making it drastically cheaper and drastically scalable, I want to see LiveFrame win. So shout out Jonah. The U.S. is nearing a trade deal with Taiwan, which would my English day. The U.S. is nearing a trade deal with Taiwan, which would cut tariffs and secure major new investments from Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, TSM, in the United States. Okay. This is big. Okay. This is big. The reason why is because in 2027, the U.S. expects, or at least thinks, that China has a really good opportunity to invade Taiwan. We think at some point soon, China's going to pull the trigger and take over Taiwan like they've said that they plan to do repeatedly. And Taiwan has something that's very important to us, semiconductors. Semiconductors are very difficult to make. They're not just like random computer parts. They're not just like random whatever. You can't just kind of pop them up anywhere. You need what's called a fab. They are very, very specialized factories, okay? If you want to know how specialized these factories are, if you want a drug, right, if you have medication and you want to make sure that you're taking good medication, you have to have a certain standard of cleanliness within that factory. They can't put anything that shouldn't be in those drugs in the like they can't be there, right? You don't want random bacteria, random microbes in your very specific drugs, which are important for your health. These fabs, these highly specialized factories for computer chips, these highly specialized factories for computer chips, semiconductors specifically, are an order of magnitude more clean, more detailed, more difficult to produce than drug machines, than drug facilities. It's way harder to make a fab than to make a drug facility. So there's very few of these in the world. Very, very few. They're extremely expensive and very difficult to maintain. But as a result, they're also incredibly profitable. Like very, very profitable machines, very profitable factories, because there's so few of them and they require such high levels of investment at the start to get rolling. Almost all of them are in Taiwan. Almost all of them. During the Biden administration and now into the Trump administration, the U.S. has recognized that this is actually a serious national security threat. We've started to build a bunch of these in Arizona. It was great to see it start under the Biden admin, and it's great to see it continue under the Trump admin. This is one of those rare situations where both administrations realize if we don't get this right, this is a serious problem. And if you want to know how serious the problem was, we had a shortage. I think in the last few years, we had a shortage of semiconductors, and every single car across the country went up by like $10,000 minimum because you couldn't produce the semiconductors which were required in all these cars. There was a chip shortage. There's a reason why used cars were shooting up $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 overnight. This is a serious, critical issue. And it doesn't get talked enough about. It really does not. Because especially if China does take over Taiwan, and if they do nationalize those fabs that they have in Taiwan, it could be a real problem for the United States of America. So for us to actually get some real investment and actually build some of these real semiconductor facilities, these fabs, this is one of the single most important issues that's facing America in the next 2 years. It really is. And honestly, the rest of the world. So it's good to see this. This is actually fantastic news. Like, this is the kind of stuff that kind of, you see it once, you don't really see it mentioned that much again, and it's just like, oh, nice, good, we're doing good stuff, right? This is critical. This is as critical as any piece of news that you see on CNN or Fox, because semiconductors run the planet. And if one country is in control of these, it is a serious problem. So to see some divestment, to see some new fabs being built around the world, and specifically, a lot of them are being built out in Arizona, this is huge. We're going to keep things rolling. We have plenty of other stuff to get through today. I kind of wanted to click into these and read through them, right? Just do a quick sprint through, see if they had anything interesting to say. I've not read this before. A16Z Crypto is one of the biggest venture firms as pertains to crypto and crypto building. Trading can be a way station, not the last stop for crypto businesses. That's very interesting, because the vast majority of crypto businesses today, or at least the most profitable ones, are really just production of tokens, trading of tokens, and that's it. Hyperliquid trades tokens. Axiom, trading tokens. Pump Fund, creation and trading of tokens. That's really it. I don't know many, there are plenty of profitable businesses that are focused on lending or other actually kind of interesting verticals in crypto, but there's just really not that many. The number ones, right? Like the biggest, most profitable businesses are Hyperliquid, Pump Fund, Axiom. All of them trading. And maybe the creation of new coins. That's it. So there's actually been an outstanding conversation about, okay, well, what are we building if at the end of the day we're all the biggest businesses, all of the biggest businesses in crypto are just trading businesses. And if we're just trading the assets of trading businesses, then it's just, we're just trading is the business, and then we're just trading the business, which is just trading. When are we going to make a product that people actually care to use and spend money on? And then the value is the value, right? Like software as a service that people actually like, or I don't know, physical goods that people actually use, hardware that's quality and increases the value of people's lives. Some serious concerns there, right? Let's see. Yeah, exactly. But if every crypto company becomes a trading platform, then where does that leave everyone, right? So if the only business that's viable in crypto is trading, and we're all just trading the coins of these businesses, which are all trading businesses, then what's crypto? It's just trading. Trading is the only product. And you're going to see a lot of hyper gamblers be like, yeah, trading is the product. The price is the product. That's the whole idea. That's what I'm here for. Why else would I be in crypto? But if that's the reason, the price, if the only value prop is the price, that value prop will dissolve rapidly. The second that people really do realize that, which they've already started to do, and you've seen it happen in a few cycles already, that's immediately when the price dissolves to zero. It happens rapidly. The repricing is incredibly rapid. So it's a good thing. It's good that we're finally starting to actually converse, about this. And the biggest VCs are like, guys, we have to build something of value here, right? Like we can't just build more perp dexes, can't just build more token launch pads, can't just build more prediction markets. It's good. The only problem, this is the one thing I don't love about venture firms when they talk about this stuff, is they're like, well, just so you know, guys, trading isn't the only vertical. All right, well, let's talk about the other verticals, shall we? No, they don't talk about it. They just say, build something else, guys. Great. Thanks. This year, regulations will help eliminate industry distortions. We're going to get into Clarity because Clarity is apparently starting to have a final comeback, which is good. There's some problems with it, but this is good. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, from A16Z Crypto, kind of a lazy article. They're like, guys, build something that isn't trading, and also there's going to be good loss this year. Like, great, thanks, A16Z Crypto, appreciated the post. 67,000 impressions and 600 likes, including mine. But they are right. I would love to see more businesses that are focused on building things that are kind of investable. I would love to see a defense company built in crypto. That would be interesting. I want to invest personally in a defense company built in crypto. I've never seen one before. I don't know what that would look like. That's not my forte, but I think that'd be cool. Like, give me a way to buy into the Anduril of crypto, and I am there, and I'm putting a lot of my money into it. And also, by the way, you guys are going to have good losses here. All right, well, what are they going to look like? Better. Thanks, A16Z. Thanks for the insight. What else we got? Speaking of new launches, okay, Tempo is apparently launching very soon, right? Or at least like seemingly kind of soon. Tempo launches the mainnet explorer behind a password wall. That is exciting. So Tempo, I would have to say, is one of the most interesting upcoming blockchains that I've seen in crypto, but I've got some serious outstanding questions about it. Okay. Tempo is Stripe's entry to blockchain, but really it's Paradigms. I've heard a couple people from behind the scenes seem to say that, like, really Stripe doesn't care, right? Stripe is more or less licensing the use of their name to Paradigm and saying, Paradigm, build us the blockchain. And if it works, great. Like, we'll take a more substantial role at that point. But they are a multi-billion dollar processor of money. I think they might even be in the trillions, right? Seeing a blockchain worth 500 million, $5 billion even. It's like, it's nice. It's a nice thing to know that they're a part of a $5 billion blockchain. But it's not like they're not moving all their operations over to blockchain rails anytime soon. They're just not moving all their operations over to blockchain because a $3 billion blockchain has shown up that they've got their name stamped on. It's just not important enough to them. They're way too big. So this is really Paradigm's baby. And they're launching a mainnet explorer. Paradigm has routed a lot of their team to it. If you've looked into it, they have moved multiple teams that are internal to or adjacent to Paradigm to work on Tempo. This is their baby. And a lot of people, have a bad taste in their mouth about Paradigm because of things like the Arc Gobblers, which, what a disaster. But they definitely didn't move over significant sectors of Paradigm's team to work on this. Here, they have. So my thought is this is one of the single most interesting launches, period, for the next 12 months. Whenever this comes along, this is it. Like, this is fascinating. It's just a matter of, one, how do you get exposure? It's really, they're probably going to do an Echo sale or some kind of ICO, which will probably be oversubscribed by 7 million%. But this is it. This is the single most interesting new blockchain that's coming up. And this probably stands in many ways directly competitive to the thesis of like Cyberpunk and Ethereum and all the stuff that people today, or at least people thought they might be getting into crypto for. This kind of stands directly, flagrantly against it. But what a token. This token will probably rip out of its mind. Whenever it decides to come out, it will rip. It's Stripe's token, practically. In name. I don't know about in reality. But in name, it certainly is Stripe's token. What else we got? Let's see. I want to talk about that. All right, I want to talk about this.
I want to break some news here with you, Joel. I hadn't planned to do this, but allow me to do it. which is that as Florida governor in year 1, I will push for the first of its kind OnlyFans sin tax. If you are a so-called OnlyFans creator in Florida, you are going to pay 50% to the state on whatever you so-called earn via that online degeneracy platform.
James Fishback, everybody, coming and swinging. I have no idea who this guy is. I mean, in fairness to him, game is game. This is a marketing campaign, right? Like, I don't think I would have seen this, whoever he is, this Florida governor candidate, James Fishback. Terrible last name, dude. Tough last name to be running for governor. Fishback. It's a little silly. That is a little silly, my guy. It's a little silly. But he's running on the promise that he's going to propose a sin tax of 50%. He wants to tax OnlyFans models 50% in the state of Florida for their income off the app. I mean, I don't know. As someone that's like, I support people doing whatever the hell it is that they want to do. Do whatever it is that you want to do, man. If that means you want to run OnlyFans, fine. Don't really support it, but I support your right to do so. He wants to impose a 50% tax on it. 50%. Is that the most extreme tax on any single? I mean, maybe what capital gains tax might be more. If you're making millions, maybe capital gains on like $1 million is more than 50%. I think it's like 52 or something like that. But how many other taxes match with that? But that's crazy. And he has a point, right? He has a point in the sense that it is kind of sad that there are actually plenty of very, very, very intelligent women that are very capable people and should be very productive or very useful people in society, that they literally, the day they turn 18, open up an OnlyFans and make millions of dollars, which says a lot about our society. It really does. And it says a lot of not great things. And I'd say OnlyFans is probably a net drag on society. Would I support a 50% tax on people's income on the app? I don't know about that. That is absurd. What else did he have to say?
And that money will be used to fund our education system, will be used to fund the crisis pregnancy centers, will be used to fund the first of its kind mental health czar for men in particular, because men have been told for far too long that they are guilty of masculinity, that they are guilty of all of society's ills. I'm not going to stand for that slanderous.
All right, I got to be straight with you. Like, we're going to take the money from the woman who has just made a bunch of money on OnlyFans. We're going to route that through the government to men. Oh, dude, you are not winning any political favors with that. That's crazy. The woman is going to make money on OnlyFans. We're going to tax her half of it. And we're going to route that to men. Oh, dude. You know, that has got to be one of the most singly interesting political opinions I have heard in a long time. And tax strategies. Interesting and bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy, Mr. Fishback. We'll see how it works out for you. I don't think that's, I mean, I don't think that's going to play. I don't think people are going to be for that. I mean, like the headlines write themselves. Man taxes women and then routes money to men. Like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. And that's not to say I support OnlyFans, but this is kind of a ludicrous strategy. I mean, yeah, like he's commenting on an actual problem, right? Like, is there a male loneliness epidemic? Yes. Is OnlyFans arguably a pretty serious problem in American society and internationally? Probably yes. Is there a serious talent that is lost in pursuit of OnlyFans? Actually, yes. Are there serious issues where so much money is getting drained to the adult content industry? Also, probably yes. Is this the way to solve it? I mean, man, it's like, how many steps away are we from prohibition? I'm not so sure, and prohibition didn't do so great. Prohibition really didn't do so great. What else does he have to say?
Lie. What I'm going to do is I am going to end this lie that toxic masculinity is responsible for all the sins and ills of society. If you're an OnlyFans model and you reside in Florida, get ready to pay 50% of your income to the state.
Which Miami is in shambles. If this guy comes into governance, right? Miami might fall to pieces. I would space Miami, right? Might not exist. They might lose all of their business. Really, I would not be shocked. Like, Miami is the hub of degeneracy. It's not Vegas, dude. It really is not. I've been to both, and I've seen way worse stuff in Miami. Miami has a lot more problems than Vegas. So, wow. I can only imagine what's on this guy's mind. You know what, dude? Like, I'm curious. I want to hear people's feedback on this. At least someone's going to say it. But this guy has definitely watched way too much of the Whatever podcast. This guy definitely has the Whatever podcast on repeat at home. Absolutely.
It is called a sin tax because it is a sin, number one. But the purpose of a sin tax in economics is to disincentivize and deter a behavior. And yes, as Florida governor, I don't want young women who could otherwise be mothers, raising families, rearing children. I don't want them to be selling their bodies to sick men online. And I don't want young, impressionable men who have strayed from Christ, who have strayed from our Lord and Savior, to be told and drawn into lust and have their entire brain rewired. We will raise hundreds of millions of dollars of income on the OnlyFans sin tax. And if we don't, Joel, if we don't raise that income, you know what it'll mean? It will mean something even greater has materialized for the young women and young men of our state, that the OnlyFans industry and its supporters, and you know who those supporters are, Joel, that its supporters will have been utterly robbed of their ability to rob us, not just of our hard-earned wages, but of our commitment to Christ.
Wow. Yeah, just wow. That is a statement. It's a statement. It's definitely a statement. As a Christian, I gotta empathize with a serious amount of his argument, but also at the same time, you are in the United States of America, and that is definitely an imposition right there. That is definitely a decision. Didn't Sophie Rain comment on this? I'm pretty sure she did. I want to see that. I want to see that Sophie Rain comment. Sophie Rain. What did she say on this? Oh, gee, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I was looking for her insight, not for her body. That was a disaster. Oh my God, that's so funny. Wow. Whoops. Let me try that again. We're going to try one more time. Sophie Rain. Actually, let me look at a different tab. One moment. Let me look at a different tab. Sophie Rain Fishback. All right. I got to find him here. I got to find this here. Hold on. Wow, that was funny. Oh my gosh. I just got a sweat from that. That's incredible. Oh, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. All right, great. She has an actual response. I want to hear what Sophie has to say on this.
My whole life, did I think that I would wake up and see a Florida politician trying to start beef with me for clout? So he's proposing a sin tax on bops where we would have to pay 50% to the state on top of the 37 I already paid to the government. And I would be more than happy to pay that if multi-billion-dollar corporations were also being properly taxed. But surprise, they're not. I never usually get into politics.
Crazy straw man, by the way. That's a crazy straw man. I'm happy to pay my taxes so long as everyone else is also paying theirs. all right, that's not the purpose of this law. That's not the purpose of this argument, Sophie. That's not what, okay. That's a pretty aggressive straw man. But let's see.
There are clearly better ways to raise funds from actual corrupt businesses in our country. I think that people also fail to realize that there are so many creators on this platform that do this job because they're struggling. So to tax them like that when they're literally doing it just to support their families is sad.
That's also sad, though. Like, it is also sad to... Is it not sad that the only way that they can support their families... The only way they can support their families is through adult content, so that's the only thing. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of my depth here, but this is just... It's just like... It's kind of hard to support both sides. Like, there's clearly a series of serious problems with OnlyFans and a whole set of perverse incentives all over it. And then saying, like, well, yeah, they have no other options, so they have to just sell their body online. It's like, what? Well, clearly there's another problem there, right? Like, clearly that's a serious issue in and of itself. And that's kind of... You're going to sell your body and you have no other options. That doesn't really sound like consent. I don't know. Don't really love that. I don't love that justification, Sophie. This is touchy. I don't like this. But also, like, man, what an interesting back and forth. I doubt that anything's going to come of this. This is probably going to be one of those things where it's just a total nothing burger and nothing actually happens in the next 6 months over this. Like, it's just a talking point and no one actually cares. But wow.
I would much rather continue donating directly to people in need because we all really know where our tax dollars go.
Do we know where our donations go, though? Like, do we? People aren't really vetting. People aren't vetting nonprofits as much as they really should. So I don't know about that either, Sophie. But it is one of the, that's one of the biggest problems with any kind of tax, right? Like, proposing any kind of tax is, how do you convince anyone to accept paying higher taxes when they know for a fact that corporations, generally speaking, are excellent at both lobbying for perfect tax laws and regulations so that they have to pay as little as possible, and finagling their accounting such that they actually end up in the black. Like, they have no tax spend for the year. But at the other side of that, you also hope that because they're in the black, they're able to employ more people or pay people better wages and so on. Like, this is a cake. This is an onion that is layered with 17,000 different onion peels and layers. And one of those layers is whether or not we tax OnlyFans creators 50% or more. Ah, man, dude. Like, American society today is certainly in an interesting position. I do got to say, though, Sophie Rain having God first in her bio, like one of the only things in her Twitter bio, is a decision. It's a decision. Anyway, let's keep things rolling. What else we got? I got to talk about the Jerome Powell stuff, though. I want to see this. I want to talk about Jerome Powell. And I'll probably do some research and clarity for Thursday. Oh, this is what I want to see too. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to do Jerome Powell. And we're going to do the predictions. So it's going to be another like 10, 20 minutes. And then we're out of here. Let's see. Barachain has an end-of-year update. This is exciting, guys. This is exciting. Barachain finally has an update. Barachain, one of the single biggest, I mean, you got to be honest with yourself, flops of 2026, has an update. So I got to see what's going on here. Okay. ATH is raw across a range of vanity metrics, right? But expectations diverge from reality. Price-led sentiment. Yeah, I mean, it was just not great price. Barachain had bad price. 25 mil plus Barra, but it's not $25 million. 25 mil Barra staked in proof of liquidity at ATH. Okay. That's all-time high. Excuse me. Okay. Wait, there's a Baradat? Oh, dude. There's a Baradat? Oh man, we really hit the DAP bubble in 2025, didn't we? If there was a Baradat, that's crazy. I missed it. I mean, I probably didn't miss it, but I just totally forgot about that. Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm just checking to see if there's any like highlights here we have to talk about. Lowlights. All right, here we go. I want to see the Bear lowlights. Price and sentiment. Reflexive and unfavorable. Yep. Price, not good. That was a low light for Barachain. Oh my God. Well, we're gonna do a Barachain end of year recap. All right. What were the lowlights? Well, people didn't like Bara and the price was bad. All right. Well, that's a pretty big lowlight. I'm glad that they led with that one. Damn. Wait, why is that a low light? Team change. One of our lead devs, Alberto, is leaving to start a Web2 company with former banking colleagues. Okay, that's tough, I guess. Marketing reset. Apparently the Bara baddies failed Bara. That's tough. I was a fan. I was a fan of the Bara baddies. I supported. Okay. I thought that they had a good mission. Yeah, I can't even try. I can't even say that anymore. I really can't. That's a disaster. Look, I wish Barachain the best. I really do. Like, it seemed like an actual effort, a real genuine effort. Truly. And they're building some stuff that seems kind of interesting, right? Like, they're actually trying. There are people that are actually trying to build upon Bara. But a reminder that this is also a chain where, like, it's a blockchain that's created by crypto natives that when there was like a serious exploit on the chain, they just said everyone stop validating, and they stopped the chain. There were so few validators that they just asked them to stop validating, and they stopped the chain. And they rolled it back. But like, that is just, man, I didn't really get into crypto to just watch these crypto native teams stop chains unilaterally, but I guess, I mean, at some point it's like, how many times can you kick a horse when it's down, right? Like, really, how much? Here's how you can help. Introductions to high potential teams. Oh boy. Oh boy. I can't really hate. It does seem like they're actually trying. And in fairness, it's like you can't fault them for not trying. Like, they're trying. They're definitely trying. Barachain is giving it an honest attempt at this point. I can't hate. And honestly, they're in the arena. They're trying things. They're putting in their best shot. But wow, if there was a team that dropped the ball harder, it may have been them. I heard a couple interesting comments on it. The best thing that I heard about Barachain in terms of like describing the type of weird product market fit that they were aiming for. Barachain is the kind of thing that should be, maybe part of Ethereum itself, but should never have gone on its own accord. It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, this car should have a really nice carburetor. Or it should have a really nice turbocharger. Okay, cool, great. And then they launched the turbocharger as a standalone part and expected that to be a car. Guess what it doesn't have? An engine or wheels or anything else. It's a nice turbocharger. It's a great idea. Proof of liquidity, it's a great idea. But it should have been part of Ethereum. It should not have been its own thing. And yeah, I got to say, like, this was one of the most predictable. The amount of people, I think every single person I spoke to prior to Barachain's launch, every single person I spoke to prior to Barachain's launch said, well, can't wait to get into Barachain and then sell it within 4 weeks. I don't think I spoke to a single person prior to Barachain launch outside of people that were directly part of the Barachain team that said that they had any intent of being part of this ecosystem for greater than 4 to 6 weeks. So look, it would be nice because Berachain is probably about as crypto as it gets, right? Like it's about, save for obviously the VC interactions, but like it's about as crypto as it gets outside of something like Hyperliquid, right? But wow, what a disaster this has been, It is yikes. So I wish them the best. I really do. But this is kind of a tough. Yeah, this is not the best. I mean, highlights, they launched Bend as a native money market. Nice. $1 million annualized revenue from Honey collateral via Athena. $1 million in revenue annualized for what was supposed to be like a multi-billion-dollar chain. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wish, like, sometimes you don't want to hate. You really don't, because they're trying. Like, they are really trying. But wow, lowlights. The price was bad. Yeah, the price was really freaking bad, dude. Yikes. We're going to do market structure bill probably Thursday. This was interesting. We should talk about Jerome Powell, though. We really should talk about Jerome Powell. All right, so for any of the Clippers, this is going to be like a multi-part thing. You might want to piece together a couple different things on this because I'm going to have to come in and out of multiple different tweets. But we're going to talk about this for probably about 10 minutes here, maybe 15 minutes, and we'll wrap this up. Okay. Jerome Powell is the Federal Reserve Chair, okay? He's been in his spot for 16 years. He is the face, in many ways, of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is tasked with printing money. That's their job. They print American dollars. What's up, Lucio? Good to see you, dude. Hope you're doing well. So this is the guy. This is the face of the Federal Reserve, and he is charged with printing money and setting interest rates for the United States, right? This guy is this is one of the most singularly critical people. Obviously, he's part of a larger entity, but one of the most singularly critical individuals and faces of the American economy, and thereby the entire world's economy, listens to the words that come out of this man's mouth. And he posted a hell of a video. Let's listen.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas.
The Trump administration is coming after Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve. They're coming after him, and they're serving subpoenas, and they're seemingly pretty serious.
Threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June.
So before we go any further, I got to be clear with you guys. What he's talking about, let's hear.
That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings.
So Jerome Powell was talking about a multi-year project to renovate buildings. He was not talking about some of his, whatever. He was not talking about setting interest rates. He was not talking about his work or duties, like serious duties, as chair of the Federal Reserve, which is printing money. And they're trying to find ways to say, hey, he misspent funds drastically here, and there might be criminal charges. The Trump administration wants Jerome Powell out of office. And regardless of where you stand on the spectrum, right? Like, this is a very, very scary situation. And I'm going to just share a personal opinion here. Trump, during the election cycle, was embattled with what was very obvious lawfare, with the Letitia James tax stuff. Like, it was pretty clear that was a case of very substantial lawfare, right? Like, no one had been tried on a bunch of those cases basically ever before. They were trying to pull tricks out of their hat that, like, this was not, it was novel. A lot of it was brand new, just so that they could try and get Trump on something. They wanted Trump to be a criminal some way, somehow. That was the whole idea. They wanted him. There was a serious attempt to make Trump a convicted felon. And that was basically textbook lawfare. The word came into existence in large part because of that. And it was a disaster. And it blew up in their face. It was ugly. It didn't work. Here's the thing. This is lawfare from the Trump administration. They are pulling up stuff that isn't really important and also isn't really provable. They're going to try novel techniques to try and get Jerome Powell out of office because Trump can't remove him unilaterally. The entire point of the checks and balance system of the United States American government is to make sure that Trump can't get this guy out of office when he is put into place. You don't want the American government is designed not to have single points of power that have unceasing control. Yes, the executive is huge. It's supposed to be huge. That's the whole idea of the presidency. It's supposed to be pretty big, but it's not supposed to have unchecked power. And he can't. Trump cannot get rid of Jerome Powell. And he's been a thorn in his side because Jerome Powell has not exclusively cut rates drastically. Because when you cut rates, you do temporary, some substantial boosts to the economy. You really do. But the economy can't just cut rates forever. At times, to balance out the American economy and the world economy, you do need to raise rates or keep rates stable. And Jerome Powell has not aggressively cut rates to the level that Trump has been demanding. So Trump wants this guy out because he wants to cut rates in the short term. And if that has long-term negative effects, he doesn't really care as much because politically, if the next 3 years don't matter, like after the next 3 years, it doesn't really matter to Trump. It really just doesn't because any problems can be offloaded to whoever comes next. In the near term, Trump can look like a savior. And if this guy isn't going to do exactly what Trump wants, he's like, well, why do I want him there? He needs to get out of there. So I need someone in there who's going to start cutting rates faster and faster. And now there are projections that say that they might actually raise rates in 2026, which would be tough, at least short term, for the economy. Excuse me. Which would be tough, at least short term, for the economy. So Trump is not a fan. And I got to be honest with you, like, this is just classic. Say one thing, do another. This is lawfare. This really is lawfare. And I don't love to see it. And this is like, if I was going to say, if he's really trying to push his power right now, if Trump is trying to push his power, this is it.
I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law.
Right.
But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project.
He's right.
Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
Which, again, Trump wants the Federal Reserve to cut rates and cut them fast. That's what he wants. The reason why is because it does boost the economy in the short term. In the short term, it is a huge boon because it makes money cheaper. And when money is cheaper, right, when money is cheaper for one bank to go to another, right, businesses have more access to capital and can buy more things and can participate in the economy, and it makes things look great. And because in the short term, it is a boost to the economy. But because money, like, it doesn't last forever. It's not like that. You can't just make money cheap forever. You can't. There are times where you have to tighten the economy and you have to slow things down where things get too overheated. And for the long term of the United States economy, there is a reason why we have the Federal Reserve, and there is a reason why they have the ability to increase and lower rates, and they do so. And over the last year and a half, like Jerome Powell, okay, I've spoken with people that have worked at Treasury firms, and over the past few years, Jerome Powell has had mixed reviews. But over the last year and a half, especially, the reviews on him, or at least the decisions made by the Federal Reserve, have been generally positive. They have been. We've been slowly lightening up. They've been slowly cutting down the rates. Not fast, not like the Trump administration is demanding, but they have been slowly cutting down the rates, which is good, which is generally has been matching with the U.S. economy properly. And you've been seeing that. The U.S. economy has grown fairly substantially in the last year. A lot of that, yes, is led by AI, but the U.S. economy has grown fairly substantially. And it's doing well, especially when you comp the American economy to the international economy. The U.S. dollar is performing very well across the world. Like compared to almost any other currency, the U.S. dollar is doing all right. And that's in large part due to the decisions. And that's in large part due to the decisions of the Federal Reserve. So they're doing all right, especially over the last year and a half. So this is something to watch where the Trump admin is engaging in what appears to be very obvious lawfare, much in the exact same way that Trump had, the Democratic Party seemed to engage in very explicit and obvious lawfare against Trump during and up to the election, where they tried to make sure that he was a convicted felon. That's happening right here. They're trying to get Jerome Powell out of office because they can't just fire him. Trump can't just fire him. So they're looking for any other way to get there.
This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation.
It is true.
I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations,
16
Republicans
years.
and Democrats
16
alike.
years.
In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
You know what? Man, this is crazy. There's other things I have to comment on regarding this. Let's see. Now, here's one of the things, right? So clearly, the president, Trump, wants to literally throw the Fed chair in jail in order to get these rates lower. And it's like, when these rates go lower, if they do go lower, it does mean that the housing rates are probably also, I believe, going to go lower as well. So it's like, there is a reason why Trump wants these rates lower, because he wants the world to be a little bit more accessible, at least while he's in office. What else we got? There was a couple other comments on him specifically that I thought were fascinating. Where was it? Should be right here. Yeah. This tells you all you need to know. This clip right here tells you everything you need to know about how Trump feels about Jerome Powell.
Mortgage dropped below 6% for the first time in many years. It's coming down very rapidly, and that's not with the help of the Fed. If I had the help of the Fed, it would be easier. But that jerk will be gone soon. In addition,
that's it. That's all you need to know. Trump wants to get rates lower, and if with rates lower, that helps with mortgage rates getting lower as well, so that the average American can buy a house. And he's saying that they're just not going down fast enough. Powell is not bringing them down fast enough. And he might be right. He might be right in that maybe they could go down faster. Maybe they could. And that definitely would, at least in the short term, help people have better mortgages in the short term to buy houses, right? We just a few years ago, people were buying houses at 2% interest rates. Now it's up to like 5 or 6. It's getting a little ridiculous. However, that's why they're talking about 50-year mortgage loans. 50-year. Which is like, man, for someone like myself in their late 20s, is like, dude, how do I buy myself an apartment or a house when rates are that high and prices on homes are that high? But at the same time, it is a little wild to watch the president engage in, or at least the president's administration, the Trump administration, engage in what appears to be absolute and direct lawfare against the sitting chair of the Federal Reserve to get him out so that they could institute financial policy that is directly in line with what the executive wants. That is flagrantly against what the whole checks and balances idea of the Constitution is all about. But, you know, the most entertaining outcome is probably the most likely. So honestly, I just grab your popcorn, sit back, and just watch what happens, because we're going to get an answer soon enough. We'll probably talk about that Thursday. Thursday. Oh, yeah, hold on.
Have the kind of rally you should have. What happens and what we want, we're going to have a lot of great months, a lot of great quarters. I want the market to go up. You announce unbelievable numbers and the market goes down because they know you're going to do everything possible. In the Fed, we have a real stiff in the Fed, but that's for another day. But they raise rates. So everyone says, oh, they announced great numbers. It's great, great, great. And the market goes down because they immediately raise rates. No, when the market goes up, they should lower rates. You want to see 20% and 25%? You want to see what we can do? We've got to go back to an old standard. When there's good news, the market should go up, not go down. Does that make sense to everybody? And that's the way it used to be for most of the time. That's the way you make a country great. But our growth potential is unlimited and could be much higher if we went back to sanity. We're not doing it anymore. We're talking about the head of the Fed. And I want somebody that when the market is doing great, interest rates can go down because our country becomes stronger. See, you view it differently. Our country becomes stronger, and therefore interest rates should go down, not up. They kill every rally. If it's no matter who, it's beyond me as president. It's no matter who's president. You have a good quarter, and they want to kill it because they're so petrified of inflation. And growth and inflation don't necessarily go hand in hand.
One, you should be petrified of inflation because it's quite bad. Like when you let inflation get out of control, like it did, I think around 2020 in the early stages of the Biden administration, it was bad. I think it's something like 60% or some silly number of all American dollars ever printed were printed in like 2020. It's actually ridiculous. Completely debase the value of the currency. The same thing that you spend years of your life just toiling away at work to put money in the bank account, and it's just completely just shattered in a handful of years. So yeah, inflation is pretty important. And yeah, it's something worth being petrified about. You don't want people carrying money in wheelbarrows like they did in Zimbabwe. That's ridiculous. And yes, it is still America, and we do still have the best guns on the planet, which is the ultimate backer of the United States currency, right? I don't know, man. It's like this is the story to watch for the next few months. Because this is the story to watch for the next few months. What is going to happen with Jerome Powell? What's going to happen with the U.S. What is going to happen with the U.S. Federal Reserve? Because this is critical. The amount of people's lives, livelihood, the amount of homes that will get bought or sold based off this news. If you move the GDP of America up a couple of basis points, the number of people who literally die or live based off of starvation, like off of the poverty line, changes drastically, statistically speaking. Like these are quiet numbers. People don't really think about how important this is. The economy, the U.S. economy, affects basically everything else ever on the planet. And this is the head of the guy that determines how valuable the U.S. dollar is, going head to head with the U.S. president. This is the story of Q1 2026 for all my finance guys out there. I want to bring in someone to talk on this. This is actually kind of crazy. This is very interesting stuff. We'll probably end it there. I think it's probably good enough. And we have plenty to talk about on Thursday. Like plenty to talk about on Thursday. Yeah. So many I didn't even get a chance to get through. All right, we're gonna wrap it here. Chris, send us home in a second here, guys. Thank you for watching, and expect more clips on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, etc. And we're gonna get things rolling in short order. So, guys, Kai Cenat quit overthinking. He launched a fashion brand. All right, never mind. Whatever. Not that important. All right, guys, you enjoy the rest of your days, and I will be back on Thursday. Peace, homies.